Update time. Let's see what we got going on. So we are working on this Jeep. We got the grill pulled off. We got the top header panel off, the plastic pieces off. I'm actually looking at this radiator right now, which is why it's leaking. So you can see how much we're leaking on this thing. Yeah, I filled it up and we're just taking a look at it. So let me give you a closer look of why it's leaking. So I haven't looked too close yet, but I know the main spot that it's leaking. Let's see if we can get you zoomed in here. So if you look right there, you should be able to see a leak. Watch what happens when I squeeze the radiator hose. Right there, that's the leak. It just barely knocked out one fin there. I'm gonna look real close at all these other ones to make sure they're not leaking, but yeah, that's what we got. So I gotta figure out how to repair one, if I'm gonna pinch that one off or if I'm going to, I don't know, try and plug it with something. I don't know, we'll see. I gotta look at the options. I'm also looking at areas like right here where this bracket for the AC condenser came down, and yeah, it's touching. You can see it hit the radiator, but I don't think it's doing damage. It doesn't seem to be leaking, so I think we'll just have to get the one fixed for now, and then kind of give it another go and make sure nothing else is leaking, really. Quick useless update. Worked till it got kind of dark yesterday, so I couldn't make this video last night, but so I was able to get all the doors open on this thing. It took a lot of beating and pounding and yanking and all sorts of stuff to get all the doors open. And then I guess I didn't really show too much before, but we are now clean. Cleaned all the junk out, vacuumed everything as best we could. So it's kind of, it's better. I still have to be careful because there's glass everywhere in this thing, so, but it's just nice that I can now sit and crawl around in this thing and not have to worry about, you know, how filthy or getting cut up by glass and stuff like that. So we're getting closer. Still can't get the tailgate open. We'll work on that here today. I'm gonna see if I can get the tailgate open. These are kind of tough. They have an issue where they actually jam up like it is. It's kind of like stuck between half pop. So yeah, we're getting there. I'm having a hard time finding some parts. I did order some stuff. I got the new fan, electric fan and shroud coming. I bought some stuff to repair this radiator. Hopefully that'll work. Still waiting on a windshield. Somebody didn't call me back like they were supposed to. Another company was way too expensive, so we're still working on that. As for spare parts, I've had some people reach out to me that they have stuff, but trying to get people to follow through is kind of hard. I can live with the way the fenders are. I can deal with that. Trying to get them straightened out is not that big a deal, I don't think. The biggest thing I would like to have is a new one of these fiberglass header pieces, because that actually holds your headlights in place. And the tabs are all busted where it bolts it in. I mean, it's only held in by a few screws, and this side's completely broken off. I can use it if I need to. I can probably piece it together. Maybe I can put a piece over the top and rivet it down. I don't know. I can probably make it work if I have to, but trying to find a used piece around is getting difficult. I know I showed the radiator a little bit, but I don't think I really showed too much of like what the damage actually is going on up in here. So if you kind of look, this has got a twist to it. This whole side it's basically pushed in. Once you take the top piece that connects the two sides, it kind of, this sprung in a little bit further. So you can see there's a lot of bent stuff in here, but we can pull that out just enough that we need to. And then this side is actually a little bit worse because it actually got crushed down. So we'll be able to get things straightened out and fixed, but it's just a little bit of work to get the radiator to fit like it's supposed to. I don't know if you can tell though, like this piece here isn't supposed to be bent. So everything's just kind of like, just kind of went, eh. Well, like I said, these fenders being all mangled up, I could deal with it if I have to. If I could find a super cheap or free set of fenders to replace them, I'll throw them on there, but I'm not worried about it. I really don't want to spend much money on them if I did find some. The reason I need a new fan is because this one is all busted up. Both the mounting tabs for the bottom are broken off. The top still has both its mounting bolts, but the bottom being broken off, this thing just flaps around. It's got nothing holding it in, so it's kind of a shame. Things like these headlight bezels, I mean, they are all busted up, but I mean, they'll work. We can make something happen with them if we need to. Be cool if we could find replacement parts, but if not, whatever. Grill is still usable. This is the top piece off the radiator. It's actually straight and still good, which is great because we can actually use this and the mounting bolts on top to help place how much to bend the fenders outward. So that's good. That's in good piece. Now as for what we pulled out of the inside of this thing, cleaning it out, I did find the wiper arms are in there. That's great. Need those. Also got the antenna. Cool. Found a ton of nuts and bolts in there as I was cleaning, so I threw all those in one container. It's good to have some spare stuff just in case. Got a single clear corner light, but I think both my other ones are good still, the orange ones, so we don't really need that. Coming inside, what we got going on, I got a collection of parts coming in here. So I found some, nice rope. That's actually good stuff. We'll hang on to that. It's a good length of it. There's a few parts in there that are usable. We got this Rubicon Express bushing kit. I don't know if that's a lower control arm bushing kit or what, but I don't know. It was in there, so cool parts. This here, the guy told me about, was in there. This is a extended brake line, a longer brake line for one side. He already installed this on one side. This is for the other side that he didn't do yet, so we'll get that in there. Lots of random pieces though. I mean, here's my rearview mirror. It's busted. Might actually just use it. We'll see. Rubber exhaust hanger that wasn't used. We got a little brush that we can clean. I'll probably keep that on the drill press over there. Broken door handle. Don't know why I kept it, but it's here. It is just completely busted up. Lots of little knick-knacky parts. A house key. This is interesting here. I know he said he had an axle issue. This is actually the piece of a front knuckle where the brake pads ride on. It's a pretty chunky piece of metal to break off, so I don't know what happened with that at some point in its life. But the one that's on the Jeep, this is not from the Jeep itself right now, so I assume this is maybe some previous damage or something. We got some zip ties, a little USB to something, a chart or adapter. We got a punch, so we actually got a tool out of the deal. That's pretty cool. That's actually a nice punch. It's super long and skinny. Kind of need that. I feel like I used to have one of these, but I lost it, so that's kind of cool. Interior piece that I need to put back on someday. We got some little clamps, blah, blah, blah. Some weird stuff that might be useful someday. A little box cutter might be useful. Some fuses. Pad. Ammo. We found some ammunition in there. Yep, we got a crusty old 223 and then an empty shell. We got two 22s over here, empty and a good. And then a 9mm that's been fired. Why it's inside the vehicle, it's kind of concerning. We got two nice 9mm here. I might actually just throw those in my ammo box. They're ready to go. Those are clean. And this is a weird little one. This little guy here, I don't know if that's like a snake round or something. It's got the little pellets in a plastic case on the tip. Interesting. I think I've seen that. I just never obviously needed or bought something. And then we got change. We came up on this thing. This thing is paying for itself. I forget what my number is, but we were like $2 and some odd cents. We are doing all right. We got a stack of coders. Yeah. I guess this is the my missing lens for the front marker light, so I might be able to just glue that back on. That's kind of cool. So that's it. Nothing too exciting inside, but yeah, it's all cleaned out and now it's ready for us to kind of get in there and make our own mess. All right, we're working on this radiator a little bit. I pulled off the AC condenser here. I did bend this tab back up. It's a little crooked still. I might fine tune that a little bit, but I'm just kind of looking at stuff like it's dipped down there. It's not that big a deal, but I can try and pop that out a little bit of damage here, but it's not leaking, so I'm not too worried about it. But what I want to mess with is right back there. So you can see how that pin, which is like the mounting lug for the radiator at the bottom there, it got pushed way up into the radiator itself. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the bottom of that pin through the structure, and then I think with some careful prying and different techniques we can get it to pull back down. So let's give it a shot. Put some vice grips on the bottom so it won't come up through the hole. Might be able to just pull it straight down even. Yeah, try it. Do some careful prying on the edges. It'll kind of pull it back down. Yeah, see, it's coming down. I can do that. Come over on the tank side. Lost our pliers. Okay, it's probably pretty good right there. Yeah, level-wise. That piece is cracked all the way across, so can't really do much about that. I could try and braze it back together, but let's try not to put another hole in the radiator. Don't know if you can tell, but the whole radiator, like these 2/3 here, is actually bowed up. That's kind of crazy. I don't know if you can see it there. Maybe if I go at an angle, I can see it. It's pretty pronounced. Everything should line up enough to go as long as it doesn't leak, and we'll be all right. Robbie Layton on pause. We are making progress. I've kind of been beaten on this Jeep on the side here. I haven't really been filming nothing because it's kind of hard to film this boring stuff. All I'm doing is just smashing the crap out of everything. But let me show you what we got. So you can see the fender is actually off now, so I kind of took that off. I beat it in shape a little bit while it was on the vehicle. It was obnoxiously loud for the neighbors, I'm sure, so I kind of took it off. It's easier to do it off the vehicle just to give you some more room to work. But if you remember right, this fender was completely pancaked. Like this top edge was just a sharp seam all the way. So now we actually have a little bit of shape to it. There was a gnarly wrinkle here that would crushed back just a little bit, so I was able to get that out. I mean, it is not good. It looks like rock rash at least, so it's gonna match the rest of the Jeep eventually, I'm sure. But there'll be some fine tuning to do once we get it back on the vehicle, which I'm not gonna do yet. I'm gonna leave these off until I kind of work on this windshield, because I kind of need access to, I think, a lot of stuff behind here to. Because there might actually be pushed in. I might actually have to pull out this area of the vehicle, which is going to be kind of interesting. We'll figure it out. And I started pulling like this edge out a little bit, but once I start getting into right here where it's double layer, you can see how it's wrinkled here. It's getting real hard, so I'm going to wait on that until I get my pulling set up ready, and then we'll probably pull that out with like a come along or something, and we'll slowly work this whole corner back out. Then she's coming along though. We're making progress. See, it's just a mess of tools. Like, I'm not trying to film this just because it's so messy. I'm just all over the place, beating this, prying on that, and pulling on here. It's a mess. But we did receive our first batch of parts, so let's go check that out. First off, let's go into the storage room here. I got a windshield. I went downtown. Big thanks to a place called Fast Glass in Sparks here in Nevada. Awesome people to work with. It was a great price for this. We're gonna go over pricing on everything because I'm gonna actually track pricing on this, but we'll get into that later. So yeah, we got glass. They really hooked me up. They gave me lots of tips and tricks on how to get this thing in. I bought some suction cups. These will be really handy because I'm going to have this glass going on and off a bunch of times to make sure everything fits before we final install it. So it's kind of cool. We got glass, I got suction cups, ready to rock. And then we got the molding. Molding's kind of important on these because it does kind of go under the window, kind of keeps the window off the metal. So we did buy the molding with it. I don't know if they really charge extra for that or not. If it is, it can't be that much. I didn't even ask for a without price. And then they really hooked it up with some urethane. They actually gave me these. I just asked them. I was like, so what do you guys recommend for a cheap urethane, you know? And they're like, here, come on. And, you know, they handed it to me. I was like, okay, thank you. And then they gave me the applicators. One guy was even nice enough to V-notch it for me like you're supposed to do with these. So it's gonna be kind of fun to figure out how to put all this in. But huge thanks to Fast Glass for this because they're helping me out a lot. I appreciate them. So if you're in the area, check them out if you need glass. And this is what showed up in the mail. So, sorry, I kind of ripped it out of the boxes already. I was too excited. One was, I needed a coolant cap on the reservoir. It was missing. I don't know if it got wrecked or what, or if it was just never there. But we got one. Wasn't too much. And then this is kind of a big deal here. This is the electric fan. The one that I pulled out was all busted up. So this one here is an exact match. This is a Amazon unit. There's your box. There's a brand there. It actually seems good quality. I mean, it actually looks better than the factory one. So, you know, the factory ones on these Jeeps are real cheap feeling. So this one actually, I like it. It looks like an exact fit though. Kind of matched it up. Looks good. And one thing I'm waiting on still though is the radiator, the fan shroud, the actual mechanical shroud on the other side of this electric. That's not going to show up till next week, so I can't quite put everything back together until next week, which is fine because I got to go to work here in a couple days. And then the last thing that showed up is actually this. I picked up some Hobart brazing rod. It's for aluminum brazing rod. I've never played with this stuff, so I was kind of messing with it, and it seems to work really good. So I did a spot right here on this. I had this piece of aluminum, so I tried it out, kind of brazed it on there, and I mean it bonds. It's definitely in there. You can't chip it off or scratch it off, so that's gonna work really good. And then I actually tried it on the metal workbench just to see what it would do, and it's on there really good too. So what we're gonna use this for is actually for the radiator leak repair. Since it's an aluminum radiator, we're gonna heat that turd up, and we're gonna fill that hole in with a bunch of this. should work really good. But then we also have that little mounting lug that's broken off on the bottom. So we should be able to use this to actually braze it back on. Some people even call it welding, you know, you're not really melting the base metal that much, but I mean, it definitely seems to get in there. It's attached. So yeah, I think that's gonna work pretty good.